Hello, friends. Happy Thursday. Just getting everything situated here. Hope you are having a good week. Okay, I think it's going to be a minute here before I can get it pulled up on my iPad. Excuse me. There we go. All righty. So today, this is the star of the show. This is the new Sunflower 3D embossing folder. So that is what I'm going to be playing with. My name is Janna, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm so glad you found me if you are new. And welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. I really appreciate everyone being here. Okay, so this, is a 3D embossing folder. It's very large, so it's shown smaller than it is here on the front. And this is so much fun to play with. So let's just get at it. So what I did, because this is so big, this measures 6 by 8, about just almost about 8.5 really. So I just take my full sheet of cardstock and cut it into 4 pieces, 4 even pieces, and I'm using white for right now. We're going to be doing sort of 2 different techniques with this embossing folder today. We're going to be using the embossed image, and also we're going to use the debossed image. So what I'm going to do is put 2 pieces in here, and really you could just cut your paper in half instead of cutting it into 4 pieces, and just put the whole half of it in here. But I cut mine into 4, so I'm just going to put both pieces in here at once and run this through my machine, and I'll be right back. You want to make sure that you use the sandwich for whatever machine you have that is for a 3D folder. Okay, so here we have it. And since I don't want, these are cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I'm going to trim them down before I get started. And if you just put 1 piece of paper in instead of 2, you can position your paper where you want. If you wanted this to be the focal image, this big flower here, then put your paper in however you want it, and that could be in the middle of your card. Or if you wanted maybe to do one up there, well, that's how I had it. So this would be really pretty as a landscape card that way. So yeah, it just depends on what you want on your image. If you wanted to make sure you got that whole piece in, then you'd want to position your paper, accordingly. So because, it went off the edge a little bit here, I want to make sure I'm going to cut that side off, because I'm going to trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4. So I will get rid of that piece there. And I think I will put it in this way here and get to my 5 1/4. And then I'll do the same with this one. This one doesn't have any weird edges on it, so let me trim this off to 5 1/4 here. And maybe I will trim it this way to 4. So I think I will start with the easiest technique first. And maybe most of you have already done what I'm going to show you today, and maybe not. You might be new. So the raised up design is the embossed side, and the where you can see that it goes in, that is the debossed side. So right now I'm going to, well, actually these are white, so both of these I'm going to be using the debossed side on these. But let's start with the easiest technique. And I've got a couple of pieces of cardstock that I've cut here. This one is Cajun Craze, and this one is in the color of Blackberry Bliss. So let's start with Blackberry Bliss, and I think I'll run these through one at a time so that I can put these where I want the design to be, maybe. Okay, that's kind of pretty. Let me do this one real quick. So pretty. I mean, even if you did nothing to it, it's beautiful. Okay, and we'll put this one up here in the top corner and get those flowers like that. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now requires white pigment ink and Stampin' Up. This is an old pad, so it doesn't look like this anymore. Now they sell them where you'll get your pad like this, except it's going to be uninked, and you'll get the bottle of white ink to ink it up when it gets to your house. This is a pigment ink, which is a thick, creamy, textured ink that requires drying time or to be heat set. Pigment inks you can use, it's like Versamark kind of, if you know what Versamark is. I'm going to be probably using some of this today also. Versamark is called a watermark stamp pad. It's clear, and it is also a thicker sticky ink that allows you to heat emboss with embossing powders, or you can go over it with pigment powders or chalk, you know, depending on what you're doing. But let me get some inked up scratch paper here. And let's start with the Blackberry Bliss. So you want the embossed side. You want the side where the design is popped up. And you are just going to drag your ink pad across. You're not going to push down hard. You're going to drag it across to get the ink on that raised up image. Now you can go straight down, you can go at a diagonal, and then as we go along with it, sometimes I turn my paper you know, in different ways and go back over it again. But you just want to go with a light touch and pull it down. And this technique would be really gorgeous if you had a gold or silver pigment pad, pigment ink pad too. That would be really, really pretty. But it just grabs that design. Isn't that gorgeous? So I am going to turn it sideways and come across that way a little bit. This technique makes for a really super fast and beautiful card because this is all you're doing, you know, and look how gorgeous that is. Okay, so I am going to stop at that. I am really happy with that. I think it's super pretty. And let's try it on the Cajun Craze. And then I will show you a couple of examples of what I did with it on black. There's so many different things that you could experiment with this. Now, I think I haven't tried it yet. I think it would be really fun to try this with the clear Versamark and then sprinkle some gold embossing powder on it and see how that turns out. Okay, let me grab a wipe so I can get this ink off my fingers. You definitely want to use your heat tool to set this, or just allow it to sit and dry. If you allow it to sit and dry, I would probably give it overnight actually. But with a heat tool, you can just zap it and that will make pretty fast work of it. Okay, so here is one that I did on black cardstock. After I did the white, I dried it, and then I went back over it with some yellow and green. I did the yellow on the flowers, and I did the green, which you probably can't really tell, on the leaves. So when you do the white first, that allows you then to go back over with color. And it's very subtle, the color, but you can definitely tell. Then I took my Wink of Stella, if this is picking up the sparkle at all, and I took my bone folder and my Wink of Stella with the lid off, of course, and I went like this, and it just spattered the Wink of Stella over the whole card front. So I think that turned out super pretty, and the card base that I used was Old Olive. So there's that one that I did with that technique. And then here's this one. Same thing. I started with black cardstock. I went over it with white, and that's all I did. There was no extra color, but look how the color ended up being the same color pretty much as the card base I used, which is Cloud Cover. It's one of the new in colors. So that is the color of the card base, and it just looks like it matches, doesn't it? I just think that turned out really pretty. Okay, so that is that technique. And I think I will let these set and dry. That turned out really pretty. And see how it gives sort of the appearance on this as a really light lavender. So I'm not sure if I will do a sort of lavender card base with this one. We'll see how much time I've got, how this goes. And then this one, that still just looks kind of white to me. It doesn't necessarily give the appearance of another color, I don't think, but it's super pretty. Okay, so we'll let those dry for a minute and we'll go on to the next. Okay, so let's start. Let's see. Let's do this one. All right, so this one, we're going to be doing the debossed side. So the design is set into the paper. Hi, Sue. And you want to make sure, if you're doing a lot of playing, when you do this technique that you're dragging your ink, that you don't have wet ink on whatever paper is underneath, because it tends to pick that up. So you just want to keep that in mind. So I am going to start here, I think, with some crumb cake. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lightly drag this down the paper. And then I'll turn it and do it again here. And I love this here, how that turns out, because it gives it sort of a woody look. I'm going to leave that at that. And then I'm going to grab my early espresso. And very lightly do the same thing. And yes, it's covering up a lot of what we just did, but it's also leaving that crumb cake here and there in different places. That's why you want to make sure you're just doing it with a really light touch. So we still got that effect there, and I really like that. So we're going to leave that. And I'm going to set that aside and let that dry, and we'll do another one. We're not finished with that. We're going to do a lot more. Okay, so making sure that I turn it over to that debossed side. What do I want to do with this one? Something different. I want to do something orangey, I think, sort of. Let's start with pumpkin pie. Okay, I haven't done this color yet, so we'll see how this turns out. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. Pretty, pretty. All right, so that is pumpkin pie. And then maybe we'll go over that with a little pecan pie. And maybe I will do on the side this time. We'll go on the side. Lightly, lightly. Ooh, 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 that is so pretty. You just don't know what you're going to get until you do it. It's really fun. Okay, I like that a lot. All right. All right, so let's get these back up here. Get the ink off my fingers. And we'll zap it to dry it a little bit here. Okay, let's start with this one. So now I'm going to use finger daubers. You can use your brushes. Use whatever you want to use. But I'm going to use finger daubers, and let's see here. I've got another piece of scratch paper here, because even though I hit that with my heat tool, sometimes when you're using your next ink, it still wants to pick up a little bit of color. So I like to clean my little dauber off in between re-inking it, because I don't want to muddy up my ink pads. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right, I kind of want to do this one a more orangey color. So I think I'm gonna do pumpkin pie. Let's just see. Let me put this back. Here's pumpkin pie, okay. And so we're just going to start coloring. And you don't have to get like, well, I told you I was going to wipe it off, and I'm not, but it doesn't, it seems to be okay. So it's not like coloring with markers or anything like that. You don't have to be precise. That's the word I'm looking for. You just kind of have to figure out which petals belong to which flower, so that you know where to go in and add your color. And if you want more color in certain areas than other areas, then do it however it makes you happy. I like the white showing through here and there, though, because I think that it highlights it. So let's do, well, do I want to just do 2 colors? I'll go ahead and do this one with the pumpkin. Definitely choosing fall colors here. Okay, so we'll stop with that. And it's so easy, and it makes such a beautiful card. Okay, I want to do Excuse me. I'm going to do Blackberry Bliss. So I'm going to do this little one up here. Oh, that's pretty. And then I'm going to do this one. Let's see, is that part of the flower there? I think it is. Some of it is flower and some of it is the leaves and stem. Ooh, 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 so pretty. Okay, so there's that. And then crushed curry for this big one. Okay, I think I got it good and dry because it doesn't really seem to be picking up that brown, so I think I'm okay to not have to clean it each time. I think that's part of the green. There's so many different ways to, different color combinations and stuff depending on how you did your background, and then to come back in and do your flowers. I think that it's pretty addicting to play with this because they turn out so beautiful and they're so quick and easy. Oh, that's gorgeous. I think anyway. So pretty. Okay, I think that looks like it might have been, let me see if I've got enough color in here too. Yeah, I do. Fix that there. Maybe this is part of one over here, so I'm just going to do it with the blackberry. And then I think we're ready for our green. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. So now, which green do I want to do? I think I'm going to do Mossy Meadow. Mossy. Let's get mossy. Okay. Wow, I don't know how I've been so lucky to grab the right dauber each time. I need to re-ink my pad, or maybe I just needed to push a little bit harder. Okay, I want to be careful right there. Oh, well, I got a little bit on the flower, but not a biggie. Too pretty. See, I love how the background color picked up, you know, the veins in the leaves. It just does all the work for you. Makes it look like you're some great artist when I know the truth that I am not. But look how pretty this turns out. People are just going to think, how did you do that? It was so easy. Okay, let's try to get this stem here without getting green everywhere else. I'm just going to use the edge of my dauber here. That seems to work really well if you kind of just turn it sideways and use the edge to get in the tighter areas. Pretty. What do you think, you guys? I'm loving it. Okay, so now for the center of the flower, I think I'm going to use my early espresso and just go at it lightly. Maybe that's too light. Okay, there we go. I might come back in with a little bit of pecan pie, or maybe not. I'm kind of liking this how it is. Yeah, I think I kind of just like it like that. I am going to call that one good. Oh, it's so pretty, I think. I love those colors together. All right, so there's that one. And then while I'm working on the next one, I will think about what color I want my card base to be for that. And let me see here. Let's see what this measures. Okay, we're good. I like to trim my paper down to the size I want it before I do the coloring on it. Okay, yeah, this one. Now I'm going to turn this over, I think. Maybe I will. This paper has been used a fair amount of times here. All right, now then, what color do we want to do with this? I think I want a brighter yellow. I wonder about Darling Duckling. Or maybe Lemon Lolly. Let's try that and see. And you don't have to do your sunflowers, typical sunflower colors, obviously, because I've never seen sunflowers those colors. It's fun to, you know, get artistic with it and do your flowers whatever color you want. Okay, that's pretty. Now then, we need another color. Looking at my colors here, what color do I want to go with? Something different. Something different. Shout it out, people. What color? What color should we do? Some sort of purpley color, or I don't know. Let's try this. Berry Burst. I'm just going to go for it. It's going to be what it's going to be. Pretty. That ink pad is very wet. Pretty. Okay, we'll do this one over here the same. Okay, so that was Berry Burst. And then for leaves on this one, maybe Old Olive. What have we got here? When you do the leaves, it just really pulls it all together, I think. Oh, that's pretty, I think. I get so tickled with these. Okay, let's try doing the centers on this one, pecan pie. And then if I need to come back in with a little bit darker, I can. I think that one's in here. There it is. I likey. So pretty. Now I have one, what did I do with it? That I started, but we're running out of time, so I'm not going to finish that because I want to complete some of these cards just to show you how they look. But this one I did the background with cherry cobbler, and then I started going in with crushed curry, and my ink was not quite dry enough, so I stopped, and I thought, well, I would finish it with you guys today. But I will have to finish this later because like I said, we're running short on time and I want to get these other things done. I also did one with a blue background, and I started with, I think I did balmy blue on here and misty moonlight. And it just ended up sort of with a teal. You can see the other color showing through somewhat here and there. And I think this will turn out really pretty too. But let's get some of these finished into cards. So let's see here. Here's the ones that we did with the white. Oh, that's so pretty. Let's let these dry a little bit, and I want to definitely finish this one. And I'm going to grab maybe fresh freesia. Let's see what it looks like with that. Ooh, I pulled out Petunia Pop too. I don't think Highland Heather, but let me look. Okay. Somebody give me your suggestion. We've got Highland Heather, Fresh Freesia, or Petunia Pop. What do you think? What color? I know you guys have an opinion, so let me know. Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather, Petunia Pop. I'll take the first guess. Somebody give me a guess. While you're choosing that, somebody give me a guess. I'm going to grab a background for this one, I think. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put that on a early espresso. I think that one right there is already cut to size. Did you guys come up with a color? Nobody's picking, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and choose Fresh Freesia. That was my first thought on that. Of course, it would be pretty just on the dark Blackberry Bliss too, but kind of wanted to do it on a coordinating color. So I'm doing a top fold here. So there's that one, and let's score this. There we go with that. I'm grabbing a piece of white for the inside here. I've got a couple more sample cards over here to show you also. Oh, I didn't cut this one down, darn it. That's okay. I prefer to cut it down ahead of time before I do the coloring, but it's fine. It's fine, it's all good. Okay, so I'm going to use both, and you want to be careful when you're applying adhesive, this type of runner type adhesive to embossed images, because when you emboss your paper, and I've talked about this before, but when you emboss your paper, it weakens the fibers in your paper. So with these roller type adhesives, sometimes it wants to peel your paper. So you just want to keep that in mind and go at it slowly and gently. But I'm going to use this, but I'm also going to use some wet glue because the embossed image tends to want to pop up a bit. So I am just going to use a little bit of wet glue along the very edge here. and then in the middle. So we've got two kinds of adhesive on here. Hopefully that holds it good enough. Just debating which way I want to do this here. I could have made it a side fold too, longwise, which would be pretty. I still can do that depending on where I situate my greeting. Okay, so after I get it on there like that, I kind of like to rub the back of it just so that adhesive grabs into the embossed areas. Okay, so I think that card base looks good with that one. That's pretty. Okay, still not finished. I'm gonna be adding a greeting to these. And does this one need trimmed? Nope, this one's good. And I think when the embossed is on the back of the card, meaning the raised up area, that one will tend to stick to your card base better than the debossed side, but I'm still going to go in and add some wet glue just because. And I'm not going to finish the other two on here just for time's sake. I will finish them. I will post them on my Instagram, and then I always share over to Saturday Morning Makes and Today's Too. So since not all of these will be in the video, I will share pictures on that site. If you're not a member of that site on Facebook, you can certainly request to join. And then also the link to, or the address to my Instagram will be in the description box. So I'll post pictures there as well. Oh, I think this one turned out really pretty. My eye keeps going to this one. I like how that turned out. The color just is so pretty. You'd never guess that that was white ink on there. Okay, so let's finish these. I'm going to set these over here so you can look at them. And I will get those finished. I think that one turned out really pretty too. Okay, so let's see here. I need a little scrap of fresh freesia, and I need a, oopsie, glue's oozing out there. Wipe that off a bit. Fortunately, it dries clear, so we're all good. Yeah, let me get a little scrap for the greetings there. Let's see here. I can cut a scrap on that one. I think we already have a scrap for that one, so we're good there. That looks about like the right, like a 1/2 inch, so good. And then I will cut a 1/2 inch strip off of this one. And then I've got my little Happy Labels punch over here. This punch is fun. It cuts a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and an inch width. And there's 2 different edges there. I always like to turn it over and just see where I've got it lined up. So there's that. I don't know where that went. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to, I pulled out my Choose Happy stamp set because it's got all of these words that you can put sentiments together or just use one single word, however you want to do it. But I think on this one I'm going to do Autumn Joy. Let's do that. So, where is Autumn? I'll find it. There it is. Autumn and Joy. There it is. Okay, so let me just put that here. See if I can line them up. Lining them up is the tricky part because they always want to stick to my fingers or my fingernails. Okay, let's see. All right, so I'll just use this scrappy paper here. and get my little powder tool because I'm going to heat emboss. This just keeps the embossing powder from sticking where you don't want it. And then I'm using Versamark. See if I can get this on here and have it look not crooked. What do you know? Turned out okay. All right. I've got some gold embossing powder here. And since it's a deeper jar, I'm just gonna stick my paper in there, maybe one more time. Okay. And make sure there's no stray pieces where I don't want them, because you might not see them while it's before you heat it. There, it will show up after you've heated it. Okay, I think that looks all right. Autumn Joy. Okay, let me snip this off because I want to do the other. So if I snip it there, I think, once I put it in the punch. Let's see, I've cut myself a strip here to attach because it's going to slide in there so far that I will lose a hold of it. So let me get it in there and Autumn Joy. Okay. So I'm going to pop that up. Oopsie. All right, and then I just want to add what I do with my doodahs. Here they are. I just pulled a bunch out from my stash, so I'm making a big mess over here on the side. Fortunately, you can't see it. But trust me, I've made a big mess over here. Okay, these are just old ones from my stash. If you have clear ones and alcohol markers, you can color clear ones any color you want, in case you didn't know that already. So I'm just going to add a little gold one right up here. And there is that card. So pretty. Okay, so then let's do something with this one. That's so pretty. Okay. I think what I'm going to do with this one is just remove the word joy. grab the word dreams. See if I can put it on here without taking the whole thing apart. If I can line it up. I think so. Okay, now let me see. I think I'm not going to heat emboss this one. Let me grab Blackberry Bliss. And this. Oh, I just stuck my thumb right in that ink. Hi, Angela. Well, I've been having a lot of inky fun. Inky, not icky. Inky. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to leave that out for a minute. Okay, now then, I'll have to do the same thing that I did with the other one. Trim it off a little bit longer. Stick my little strip to it. This is just from a sticky note. I just cut a strip off with the sticky on one end here so I could be able to get that in there and get it where I want it. There we go. Okay, now then, where is my Blackberry Bliss? Is it in this one? There it is. Wow, we are over an hour. We might have to skip story time today. All right, so I think I'm going to put it up there. Autumn Dreams. Pretty. Now let's stick a doodah on that one. What I do with, here's clear. I have clear ones, but oh, here's the colored ones. I just grabbed some. Wonder how this pink would look on there, because it might pick up the color. Yeah, I think that's fine. pretty? Okay, I will show you the other ones that I finished. And then, like I said, the ones that I haven't finished, I will get those finished, and I'll put them all on Instagram. Probably not going to happen today, though, you guys. Okay, so here's the two we finished today, and the other two that we did the inking and fun with there, but they're not finished. And then here's the one I showed you earlier. This is on the embossed side with white. And this was the other one with that technique on the embossed side with white on cloud cover for the card base. And then here is this one that I did. This one is on a Blackberry Bliss card base. I did it started out as a white card, and this is on the debossed side, and I drug pecan pie on there, and I think early espresso. I think that I colored it maybe with cherry cobbler over here and Blackberry Bliss. Turned out really pretty. And then here is another one that I did on, I did the card base like I did this one, but you can see how different these look. I did early espresso in the background, and I think that's the only color that I drug onto this one. And then crushed curry. I did the flowers all the same color there. That turned out pretty too. So I think they all, each one turns out different. They just do. So I'm gonna skip story time because we're already so late into this video. And then again, here are the two that I started. I need to finish coloring this one, but the background is cherry cobbler. And then this was two colors of blue on this one, Misty Moonlight and Balmy Blue. But they turned out kind of a teal. See how you can see the two colors there? And I don't know what color I'm going to do the flowers on this one yet. So that is that. I hope you guys love this because I just think they turn out so fun and it's so quick and easy. Again, the embossing folder is called Sunflower 3D Embossing Folder. It's this big giant embossing folder. I also have been meaning to tell you and forgot, and we're almost to the end of the month. Excuse me. But Stampin' Up! Has some things on sale. The in colors, the re-inkers, paper, anything that's got in colors. Now, not 100% of the in color stuff is on sale, but most of it is until the end of the month. So there's not a whole lot of this month left, which I can't believe. But anyway, that sale is still on. I think they did a refresh on the last chance items. So you'll want to check that out and see what other things are on sale. Plus, okay, they're doing a couple of things. They are getting rid of the Stampin' Write markers. So not the alcohol markers, but the water-based markers. Hi, Lupe. Oh, yeah. There's so much you can do with this embossing folder. So yeah, they're getting rid of the Stampin' Write markers, even the black one. They are also they're getting rid of red rubber. So the red rubber stamps are going away. They said that it's because they can't source the supplies that they need to manufacture the red rubber. I don't know. But anyway, so we will just, everything will be clear, the clean photopolymer stamps. So there are still some red rubber coming out in the holiday catalog, which is, this is what it looks like. I can show you the cover and the back cover. So there's still some red rubber cling in coming out, that, but they're going to be phasing that all out. And so therefore the packaging is changing. So stamps aren't going to be coming in cases like this anymore. They are going to be coming in clear plastic envelopes like the dies come. Oh, I want to show you guys this. I know we're way over, but I want to show you this die set. So the stamps and dies are both going to be coming in these kind of plastic envelopes. This die set, you know, the one with all the circles that I use a lot? This one is rectangles, and it goes with a stamp set, but this is just the rectangles. So I didn't buy the coordinating stamp set. I only bought the dies. Textured Notes dies is what this one is called. And you get 8 dies in here. Look at all the fun borders. I just think it's so cool. So I'm happy about this. I love all the little different borders, and this is really nice for greetings or sentiments, whatever. You've got 2 that are really kind of perfect sizes for that. And then it all layers on top of each other really nicely. So I'm giving you a look at that. And then I'm going to give you a look at the gingerbread that I can't show you the inside of the catalog, but I can show you the products. Okay. So I'm going to show you the gingerbread because if you're like me, you love gingerbread. All right. First of all, this is the ginormous die set for the gingerbread. Gingerbread Man Dies is what it's called. And here it is. It makes a folding card. So this is the gingerbread man. And if you wanted, you could make him where he opens, or she, and then still attach it onto the front of a regular card, so the gingerbread part would open and then your card would open. I think that would be cool. It's got all kinds of fun layering here for a lollipop and candy pieces and a candy cane. There's a hat, a mug, gumdrops, a scarf. The faces, there's a few different faces. There's 2 sets of gumdrops just to make it easier for cutting out, and other decoration here. And then here's the gingerbread man stamp set. So again, several faces. Oh snap, I love that part. You could actually cut a little or tear a little piece of one of the arms or legs off, like somebody took a bite out of it. So here's the actual size. So that is going to be in the upcoming holiday mini, which comes out, is it the 3rd? I don't know if it says on here. So it comes out soon, beginning in December. There's also this cute Festive Friends stamp set. Again, well, no, this one's red rubber still. This is a cling mount, so this one's red rubber. Very cute, and there's coordinating dies. It's got a fun tag die in this set. and a little tab that you can attach to the top of the tag. And so that's a quick look at that one. And then to go along with the gingerbread, I think these two go really well together. The gingerbread and then the homemade treats stamp and die set. Here's the die set. You get a cookie sheet and then the dies to cut out the elements in the stamp set. And it's also red rubber. So there's dough, and then you can puzzle piece these back in there if you want. The piping bag, the mitt, the rolling pin, scattered confetti there. So yeah, so I think that goes pretty good with the gingerbread man too. So that's a sneak peek of some of the things coming up in the holiday. There is, to my recollection, there is not any Halloween in it. There is going to be, I think, some paper, maybe one other set in the online exclusives for Halloween. So there wasn't much at all for Halloween this year. Anyway, I better get off here because we're almost to an hour and a half now, but I sure do appreciate you guys being here with me. And yeah, if you love this embossing folder, get it. You'll have so much fun playing with it. Sunflower 3D embossing folder. The link to my online store is in the box below. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator already and would like to shop with me, you can. And I think that's it, you guys. Have a fabulous weekend. We've got our best friends here. They're coming in today for the weekend, so we'll have some fun time hanging out with them. And I'll see you in my next video. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.